When speaking to a person new to executive coaching recently, they asked me an important question. Is it possible to have a coaching engagement without providing an assessment to the client? It's a good question because many newer coaches find that the emphasis on the use of assessments in coaching engagements is a source of pressure. And that's because they don't yet have any certifications or authorizations to issue assessments. And they're wondering, is this holding me back from getting started in executive coaching? The good news is no, it's not holding you back from getting started. In fact, the International Coaching Federation and their coaching competencies doesn't even refer to the use of an assessment as part of coaching engagement. They believe, as I do, that you can coach and do so effectively without assessment data. All right, so then what would a coaching engagement without assessment data look like? Here's what I think. 1, the client should have an idea of what they would like to work on when they come to the coaching engagement. Assessments sometimes provide insights and realizations for both the coach and the coachee as to what might be a blind spot that the client is unaware of, or a hidden strength that they could amplify, further strengthen, and leverage to be even more effective. So if the assessment is not present, well, then we would hope that the client would be pretty aware of what they would like to work on. I get clients that come to me wanting to work on executive presence. Do I need to have an assessment that identifies areas of challenge for them related to executive presence? No, because executive presence is often about communication skills, decisiveness, clarity of vision, image, inclusiveness. There are aspects of executive presence that are understood and well recognized. Also, oftentimes people who want to work on executive presence have received feedback that they need to work on their executive presence. And I always encourage these people to go and find out, what does it mean in the eyes of the people who gave you the feedback? Double click on the term executive presence, because it can mean so many different things to different people, right? So if your client gets clarity as to what executive presence looks like in their organization, then they can self-assess and have some ideas about what they should work on when they come to the coach. I don't necessarily need assessment data to support this engagement. So that's just one example of an area of work that may not need an assessment. What's another one? Dealing with overwhelm. When a client is dealing with overwhelm, feeling like they just have too much to do day after day after day, what will the assessment provide to me in that case? I'm not sure. When I think back to some clients that have felt overwhelmed, oftentimes what's more helpful than an assessment might actually be a time log. A time log meaning, what do they spend their time on each day in increments, logged for at least a week, if not 2 weeks? Is that an assessment? Well, it's really more of a survey or an observation or an analysis, or just taking stock and documenting how you spend your time. We would then take those results and analyze them, talk about them, and assess whether they're using their time on those activities which are most important to them. So again, while an insight may be gained by having assessment data in terms of, for example, one of the assessments I use determines a person's level of decisiveness, whether they are bold in their decision making or they like to deliberate. If they like to deliberate, then that means that they like to take longer in making a decision. That might be one of the reasons why they feel regularly overwhelmed, because they have too many decisions coming at them. So could the assessment help? Yes, it could. Could I do the coaching without the assessment? Yes, I can. So as a newer coach, Don't feel the pressure on your shoulders of having to figure out which assessments you're going to use in your coaching. Instead, focus on establishing good coaching skills, strong listening ability, leaning on your intuition, being fully present with the client, and really hearing them and basing your inquiries and questions on what they want to work on, what they're surfacing, what they're feeling. If you focus on these things, then a coaching conversation can be really effective and meaningful and purposeful for the client. Now, one last thought on this. You could also get feedback, not necessarily an assessment, right? Feedback is talking to people who work with the client and getting feedback from them on what do they think about this leader's way of showing up? How effective are they? Is there one thing they could work on to be more effective? What do they like about what this leader does? You can get that kind of feedback in one-on-one conversations without even needing to use an online 360 survey, because again, that's another tool that you may not yet be certified to use, but you can get feedback. So don't confuse feedback with assessment data. They're separate tools that you can use to gain insights about what the client may want to work on. The client may even have recent feedback that they can bring into the coaching space. And some clients have actually taken assessments in the past, and they may be more than happy to share that assessment data with you, which could then make it a little easier for you to gain insight, right? And yet you didn't have to issue an assessment. I hope this video really helps you to think about ways to coach without the use of assessments. While it's a great tool, and I do recommend that eventually you become comfortable selecting some assessments and starting to integrate them into your coaching process, don't feel that it's an impediment to get started. If you'd like to go further with me and learn more about ways to succeed as an executive coach, consider enrolling in the Center for Executive Coaching. That's the program that I am a faculty member with. I lead online training classes most weeks of the year. I lead in-person seminars several times a year. I also lead mentor coaching programs several times a year. So I'm quite involved with the Center for Executive Coaching, and I would love to have you in one of my classes for whatever budget level or pace is right for you. Explore our options. Visit my blog site, BAECExecutivecoachtraining.com, to gain other resources to help you succeed as a coach and also learn about the CEC's training options. You can also schedule time with me right through that website. If you would like to have additional resources to support you as a coach, consider following my company page on LinkedIn. Just search for Bay Area Executive Coach. You'll find the page. Follow it there, and you'll see that we post each week resources that can help you as a coach. And of course, subscribe to this channel as more videos are on the way. And please like the video, comment on it, share it with others so that they can discover this channel to help them become successful executive coaches, just like the journey you're on. Thank you very much.